Is now a good time to buy a home? No.
No, it's not.
Let me kind of walk you through what my wife and I have been going through recently. Now, I guess to start, my wife and I have been on this journey for, I mean, we've been looking at houses for like over a year, but like getting really serious about it within like the last 6 months or something. So my wife and I have been trying to do the smart thing, kind of leading into all of this whenever we're capable of it. Like we've been trying to do better at our jobs so we can make more money. We've been trying to pay off debt as best we can. And we've been trying to just save money for a down payment because all those things affect so many things. And I've been in banking for a really long time, so I'm familiar with debt to income and loan to value, all those acronyms that the bank uses to kind of judge whether you're going to be a good homeowner, going to be able to pay your loan and stuff like that. We've been doing really good with that. We paid off practically all of our debt minus student loans because who can pay those off? We've been doing good at our jobs. We've been making more money, and we've got a fairly decent down payment. But right now, I just wanted to talk about a few things that we've been seeing that have just been really frustrating. And I think to start, probably one of the most important things is just simply the interest rate. Like the interest rate is just not what it used to be. Now I say it like that because it's higher. It's higher than what it's always been. I'm trying to put things in perspective though. Apparently, historically speaking, like the interest rates that they are right now between like 6.5, 7.5%, that's been about the average across the history of the United States. Now, we've been fortunate to be able to have super low interest rates for a really long time. And I just felt like we just weren't in a good spot to be able to buy a home then. So we kind of missed out. And people tell us that the interest rates are on average. That doesn't necessarily make me feel better because I of course want a cheaper interest rate. If I can get it cheaper, then that means that we can afford more of a house and be able to put more towards a mortgage, or just have a cheaper mortgage so we can spend more on just lifestyle and starting a family and all those things. So that's just been kind of one of the bigger bummers is just the kind of the fluctuating interest rate. And plus with everything going on in the country right now, like who knows what tomorrow's interest rates are going to be. Like we can kind of guess like quarter of a percent here, quarter of a percent there. It's just like, maybe a percent or two. Who knows? And that's like hundreds of dollars when you break it out over 30 years. So that's kind of been the first thing. The second thing is just how competitive the market is right now. Like cuz we look at homes and we know what we can afford. We know what we can budget, and kind of what we're looking at. They're not bad homes. They need a little bit of work. They're older. They got charm and all that stuff. We look at these homes and uh, we just notice that because there's so small of a supply, and there's apparently a lot of buyers out there, and a lot of the buyers are just competing with each other because everybody wants a home. A person lists a house on the market, throwing out a number, $200,000. That's what the seller's asking, and a lot of people will say, "Oh no, I'll give you asking," and it's like, "Oh no, I'll give you 5,000 more, no 10,000 more, no 20,000 more," and it just keeps increasing. And that's just been very disheartening because my wife and I, we're not people that like to play games, nor do we really want to just earmark a bunch of extra money to a house that's not worth that. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's been disheartening because we're not necessarily competitive people by nature. We know we want a house. We don't mind being a little competitive, but whenever it gets like $10,000, $20,000 over, you know, I'll stick to the sidelines. That's okay. I don't need to be a part of that. And the third biggest thing, which is probably, and I saved it for the last because it's mind-numbingly frustrating. And I'd like to start with it's the inflation. Everyone's been talking about inflation. Everyone's talking about how outrageous it is. Didn't disregard tariffs, just inflation in general. Like I knew what was going on, and I think my wife and I live in a part of the country where it doesn't affect us as dramatically as we kind of work around more in the center. Like the coasts really get affected really intensely whenever that happens. We just don't really see that for a while. So not only did I not really see it dramatically where we're at, but I didn't realize how bad it was until we started looking at houses. The numbers I'm going to give, they're just examples. But for example, like one of the homes we were looking at, They were asking, I don't know, just throwing out a number, $250,000 is what they were asking for. And we're like, yeah, no, okay, that's more than what we think the house is worth, but it's the market, is whatever. Well, whatever. What's funny is we'll go on like Redfin or we'll go on Zillow and we'll just they have the part there where they try to historically track the value of the home over the course of time. And it just makes me so mad because this home that they're asking $250,000 for just 2 years ago, let me recount. 2 years ago was sold for $180,000. That's like a 27+% increase. What? Like, my wife and I, we kind of just joke with each other because it's like if we were just smarter, we would have been perfect home buyers 2 years ago. Perfect ones. It's just the homes are jumping so much. And it's not even like over the course of like 10 or 20 years, like normal inflation would. Inflation hits so hard that in a course of 2 years, the value of the home jumps way over 20%, which is insane. And my wife and I, we have good jobs, we get paid good money, but like our wages are not keeping up with the value of homes. And so there's just so many disheartening things and it's just such a pain because that's the thing that just drives me the most nuts is and not only that. Let me add a little asterisk to that. It's not only that these sellers are asking for a lot more, mostly because of inflation, partly because it's a seller's market, meaning there's more people wanting to buy a house than there are actually houses available. So that adds to that. But not only that, what's more frustrating is that there are people out there buying these homes, which just raises another question. Like, who are these people? What are you doing? Did a relative die? You just been endowed a whole bunch of money? Or did you get a nice raise? What job are you doing? I want to be doing what you're doing. My wife and I, we want a home. We want to start a family. We live in a decent apartment. It's okay, but it's not suitable for a family, and that's what we want. And it just feels like a losing battle. It just feels like you're just climbing that hill and you're not getting anywhere. And I had to just vent all that out because it's just been so frustrating, this journey. And I really think we just jumped in at a really bad time. People think interest rates will go lower. There's development and housing coming down the road. There's a better opportunity. It's just right whenever my wife and I work so hard to get where we're at, do all the right things, just to feel like, the ferry hasn't made it here yet. Gotta wait for it to get here first before you can cross the river. It's like, okay, I guess I'll wait. But again, this is just what I know. I don't know if any of this makes sense to you or not. What are you guys seeing? I mean, I don't know the good time to buy a house. I know it's not now. Or it just feels like I'm missing something. What are you guys seeing? Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what moron I'm being, because I'm sure there's just like this toy thing that is just blatantly obvious. I'm just completely missing. Point it out. Tell me I'm dumb. I'm willing to hear it. But any advice, any suggestions, like help each other out, because my wife and I are new here. We don't know anybody, and we just rely very heavily on just the few friends that we do know. And it would be interesting to hear what you all think, what you all are seeing. Are you trying to buy a house? Are you giving up on it? Are you just gonna rent the rest of your life? Because I get that too. So no, if you like this content, like and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you.